Hello pilots and welcome back to the show. For this episode, I want this to become a series, maybe rant news, I don't know, no, that's a terrible name. Anyway, it's going to be about news topics, any drone related news, and I'm just going to kind of talk about it, give you my opinions, and I'd love to hear yours. So please feel free to comment and let me know what you guys think. But anyway, without further ado, for this week's topic, we're going to be discussing what exactly DJI or any drone manufacturer's role should be in geofencing or restricting the use of their drone. Now, this has been a very hot topic recently. I've noticed just around the internet, people are talking about it, making videos about it. DJI has started to more heavily restrict the use of their drones with geospatial data from companies like Airmap, and they're basically taking the no-fly zones and creating a database, so when you try and take off within certain restricted no-fly zones, it'll stop you from taking off. It'll lock the motors, you won't be able to turn the motors on, and you won't be able to take off in that location. So this has been going on for quite some time, but it looks like in some recent updates, some recent firmware updates, it's become more aggressive and started to limit people in their ability to do their job, especially if they're hired sometimes by some utility or something that's in a no-fly zone and they have the proper clearances, but DJI just won't let them fly there. So my take on this. I've seen people who say DJI shouldn't have to feel responsible for the use of their drones. If somebody crashes into an airplane with a Phantom, that DJI wouldn't be responsible. And to some extent, I'm sure that they're very well protected by the disclaimers that you sign or agree to when you fly the drone. But at the same time, even if they aren't directly liable for somebody using their drone to do something bad, there's still the enormous brand reputability that they would lose if their drones start creating chaos and creating bad situations in the news. If their brand name becomes associated with people flying in places that they aren't supposed to, that's not really good for them, and it's not really good for pilots in general. So to some extent, I do think that DJI holds some responsibility for the drones that they make, making sure that they're safe, and I think that they recognize that. Actually, I can tell that they recognize that by what they're trying to do to limit pilots' ability to fly where they're not supposed to. Where I think it gets a little bit more nuanced and complicated, and as I always say, it's not black or white, it's really gray, is when pilots sometimes have either clearance to fly in an area when they're hired by somebody who has got the proper clearance, and then the drone still won't allow itself to take off. There's no way to override, there's no way to ensure that you are who you are and have the proper clearances. That's where it gets a little complicated. DJI sold you a product on the basis that you'd be able to fly it, and now they're restricting your flight even if you have permission. Now I recognize that this is such a small fraction of the community who's flying. There's such a small fraction of people who actually get clearance to fly in places where they're not supposed to, but it exists. So I think what DJI needs to do, and it's not a simple solution, but they need to come up with a way to take some sort of system where people can submit a waiver or something that allows them to fly in a specific location if it's granted by whatever governing body controls that location, and then DJI can unlock the drone. And it needs to be automated, it needs to be fast, it can't be something that takes 3 months to allow you to fly in some certain area, because that just stops growth. That just slows down people flying, people being able to do their jobs with their drones. And the truth of the matter is, if DJI starts locking up their drones, there's another company that will come around, they're going to make a drone. It's this technology that's pretty open source and readily available now, and then they can unlock their drones and allow people to fly them anywhere. So I think that DJI really needs to consider that and make sure that they're accepting for all customers. But overall, my opinion, I want to make it clear, I think that DJI is doing the right thing. I think that they do need to really be sure that they're starting to restrict the average Joe from flying next to LAX, when they're not supposed to, when they don't know what they're doing, and causing some serious trouble, because, they don't know what they're doing, and having this technology that's smart and helps them stay out of trouble, that seems like a win for everybody. But as always, I'd love to know your thoughts, and let me know what topics you want to hear in the next videos, and I will try to cover them. Thanks again for watching. Bye.